Understanding the difference between product research and sourcing is crucial to finding profitable products. In this presentation, I'm going to explain what these two things are and why understanding the difference between the two of these things is so crucial to finding profitable products. So to start off, this is a short presentation and there are just a few points to look at. First of all, number one, what is product research and sourcing? So first of all, product research is the process of systematically collecting and analyzing information about a potential product or a market to gain insights into customer needs, competitor landscape, and industry trends. Now, I did take this definition from Google, and I'm going to give my take on it, right? But this is generally how product research is defined, and some key things in here that you'll see: collecting and analyzing information about a product or a market, right? Looking at a whole market to gain insights. Okay, so these are some key things here. Product sourcing, on the other hand, is the process of finding and acquiring the goods or materials a business needs to create or sell its products. It involves researching suppliers, negotiating prices, and ensuring the quality of the items. Essentially, it's about finding the products you want to sell, buying them from a supplier, and reselling them. Okay, basically, with product sourcing, it's the actual acquiring, finding the actual suppliers, as they mentioned here, right? Getting the products for the price that you want, and then being able to resell those products. So now, those are, general definitions and maybe a bit more complex, but I'm going to put this, explain the difference between these two in a way that is more detailed for the tools that we're actually going to use. So product research tends to work with more general data, while sourcing deals with specific sources and their profitability, the profit that you can earn from these different sources. Now, I'm going to explain the difference by giving these two main processes. One is using Google Trends, keyword tool, and marketplace data from Amazon or eBay to find products. That's part of product research, right? That's the more general product research that they're describing in that definition. However, locating actual sources of products that you found on Amazon or eBay and calculating the profit, that's part of the sourcing process. Now, do these two sometimes kind of get intertwined? Perhaps they do, but basically, going back to that first definition, right? Collecting and analyzing data about the market. That's Google Trends. That's like seeing how popular certain search terms are and how the popularity has changed over time. That type of stuff is product research. But when you're actually looking at products and then finding sources of those products and calculating profit, that's sourcing, right? Now, for the final question, well, why is this difference so critical? Why is it critical to understand the difference between your research and sourcing, right? Well, the whole thing is high demand, low supply leads to higher price margins, which is going to lead to profit, or higher profit, I should have said, right? So when you find things that have high demand and have a relatively low supply, they always talk about high demand, low supply, but it's really a relative thing, right? It's relative, right? If you have a much higher demand compared to a much lower supply, that's going to tend to give you higher prices, which is going to give you more profit. So here's the thing. If you don't first do product research to identify products with a high demand and low supply, or that in some way are desirable, when I said some way are desirable to you, I mean high demand, low supply, or have some other characteristics that you want, then you're not going to be sourcing the best products for what you're trying to find, right? You're not finding the best products, right? You're just sourcing anything, basically. So this is why it's so critical, why it's so crucial. Product research reduces the solution space of product sourcing, meaning it narrows down your products, or narrows down the products that are more likely to be profitable, so that when you go into the sourcing process, you're not just going through hundreds of things that really have no chance of being profitable. So this is why product research is important. And so when I do videos and I'm looking at things like Google Trends, when I've done videos where I talk about Google Trends, or I talk about a keyword tool, right? Using keyword tool to identify keywords that people are looking for. When I talk about using Google Trends to see how the popularity has grown over time, or to even see how popular something is right now compared to the rest of the year, right? Kind of like to see how it has changed through the seasons. That's why this is important, because it's going to help you find things that are popular before you even start sourcing them. So that's about it. That is the idea of product research versus sourcing. Of course, depending on whether you're doing arbitrage or doing wholesale or drop shipping, it does sort of change what product research means and what product sourcing really means. That's why I gave these very general, kind of elaborate definitions from Google. But what that means in the specific model you're using, it does change. So if you're doing wholesale, for instance, you're more likely to be negotiating prices, where if you're talking about retail online arbitrage, retail drop shipping, you're not necessarily negotiating, you're just finding suppliers and calculating profit. So what these things mean exactly, yes, it does vary from one model to the other, but overall it's critical, and product research is critical to find these high demand products. And then sourcing is the actual process of finding the sources. A lot of times these are used interchangeably, but they're actually two different things, right? And so this is something that I want you to understand in this video. If you want to see other content I have, you will see that I have other content where I actually do product research, and you'll see content where I do actual sourcing. And for that, I use a lot of Google Sheets that I've made to help automate some parts of that sourcing process, so that you're not doing all of the actual work of manually locating products, sources of products, and so that you don't have to manually calculate profit using formulas on spreadsheets and different tools. So if you're on YouTube, look in the description of this video and you'll find links to the various resources that I have. Also, you can take a look around the channel. If you're not, find links anywhere around this video or wherever you're watching this video. Find links and check those links out, and you can always get in contact with me if you have any further comments, questions, or suggestions. I am Mr. Mark, and I look forward to seeing you on another one of my videos.